Hey folks, it's Thursday, December 18th. It's a beautiful day today. It's a beautiful day because some actual reporting is coming out that is looking at the post office and looking at the potential cuts in a realistic light. Behind me on my monitor here is the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives report, and it actually says that Canada Post is already one of the world's most cost-effective postal systems. A couple of the interesting things that came out of this study was that in Canada, the average cost per resident is $198. And in the country, or the list of all the countries that they've applied, including Finland, Austria, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, France, Ireland, Japan, Norway, and a couple of other ones, that's actually lower than the average cost of delivery, which is $254 per person per year. One of the interesting things, though, is that the cost per item shipped by Canada Post is $1.23. But until this year, the price of a postage stamp was 99 cents. That does not seem like good business to me. Even if you attach the premium of the time, which was 15 cents for if you just bought one stamp, that doesn't help out. And so our cost of delivery for the average item was 24 cents higher than what are charging for a basic stamp. That's bad business. That's terrible business. And it's been that way for the better part of the last decade, as far as I know. And only recently did they increase the price of the stamp. So the government has been intentionally blocking the increase of a stamp for the last decade, which has been creating problems for Canada Post financially. But they haven't done a postal review. And the last 7 years, there's more problems. Like, that's just a mess. But the report goes on to talk about how they actually think Canada Post is doing quite well, considering the geography of where we have to deliver and all of the intentions involved. Then they actually talk about all of these post offices and whenever they've made cuts. And in almost every single case, whenever they've made cuts, it has actually cost them more than the money they're saving. So they call that the self-defeating nature of postal cuts, and the average cutting rate for operational costs was 22%, but the operating revenues that were reduced by it was 23.8%. So cutting it always seems to end up in a negative light of reducing the income that you have to play with overall. It's a bit of a mess. I encourage you to read the report. I'll probably put screenshots over this video, and I'll include the address at the end here. All right, have a great day.